So, when I came here, I was fleeing something. Now, for me, it was 10 years of persecution, lack of freedom, lack of human rights, little war. So everybody that comes here typically, or more, the vast majority, are fleeing something. And they're also seeking something. So for me, I was seeking opportunity, I was seeking education, I was seeking all of those things. And I dealt with the trauma of losing something. So the people that are here are the same thing. Now for me, I lost my friends. I lost everything that I knew. My home, everything was brand new. I'm in the midst of culture shock. So those immigrants or those people from another culture are going through the same thing. And so regardless of where they're at or where they came from, there's some commonalities out there. And here's the commonalities that I had, and just about every human being has, and that is we want to be loved. We want to be understood. We want to be accepted. We want a friend. For me, it was awful. And for a lot of people here, when they first come here, it is awful. And here's why it was awful for me. Because I didn't have a friend for years. Our friend here, she's in chapter 2 of the book, Muslims, 5 Biblical Essentials. And I shared that she was here for 8 years before an American actually befriended her. For me, it was the same thing. I was here for 3 years before an American befriended me. It was lonely. It was awful. It was traumatic. And finally, when I got friended, that's what I was seeking. Now, my friend, he didn't know anything about the culture or where I came from. He had never traveled outside of 2 states in the U.S., so he didn't know anything. So you don't have to be an expert. He didn't know anything, but he asked me. He was just curious, and it wasn't because somebody taught him. He was just asking, well, tell me a little bit more about where you're coming from. What, do you like this? Do you like that? What is it like over there? So he had a lot of curious questions. So I taught him what he needed to know about the other culture. But in that process, I felt the love of Christ flowing through him to me. Now, to me, I wasn't a believer. I hated God, and I'd walked away from the Lord at the time. Still, that love is what kept me and what I was seeking. He became my friend. So how do you not offend somebody? Love them. Seek to understand them, just like my friend did. Let the love of Christ flow through him. Be a friend, because all human beings, that's what we need.